Hello there, guys. How are you all doing? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review, and man, oh man, do we have a lot to talk about today when it comes to Nintendo and their online service. So today turned out to be a pretty crazy day for news on the Nintendo front and the online front. It's been a total whirlwind, and it started off with some crazy news and then turned into other completely crazy news. Some of it bad, some of it good, a lot of it in the middle. Really hard to know what to make about all of it, and I'm going to do my best to try to make sense about what's going on and share with you my opinion and perspective with the fairly limited information that we have so far. So like I said, there's a lot to go over and a lot of details, and it's almost overwhelming as far as where to actually begin. So let's start at the beginning, which would be this morning when it was revealed that Hori, the third-party kind of accessory manufacturer in the gaming industry known as Hori, they revealed that they have a Splatoon 2 themed headset officially revealed for the Nintendo Switch, which is meant to be something to connect to Nintendo's impending online app that's supposed to let us interact with Nintendo's online network for the Switch, which we all know has been this kind of unique mystery. They had given us very scant details leading up until today about what their plan with this online service is going to be, and the fact that there's some sort of mobile app. How is it going to work with the uniqueness that is the Switch? A console that's both a home console and a portable that, yes, sits underneath your TV and connects to your big screen, but you can also pick up and just take out of your house and play wherever you go, whether you're in a car, or you're on a train, whether you're hanging out at your friend's house or flying somewhere. And it's like, well, how does the online infrastructure work? And the fact that you have this app, well, how is this phone app going to also work with that? So these are all the questions that we had. And then all of a sudden, Hori comes out of nowhere this morning and says, hey, here's a headset and here's a diagram. You're looking at some pictures here now of the diagrams and the headset and all this stuff in the packaging. Here's a headset that connects to the Nintendo Switch and also connects to your phone and allows you to chat online, apparently while playing Splatoon 2. Ideally, you would think it would work for any game, although it's very much themed and meant to look like a Splatoon 2 thing. Even the little dongle that connects the Switch to the headphone to the phone is in the shape of a squid, which I have to admit is pretty cute. Like, I totally get that. And I gotta tell you, when we look at this diagram of what this thing is set up like, it's not appealing or interesting to me. And most of the internet has agreed. It's been pretty insane as far as people's reaction to this. And this, again, was just this morning before we got any news or confirmation from Nintendo. Everyone is like, well, this is kind of garbage looking setup. And for myself, I was like, okay, this is really complicated and cumbersome. Talking with the podcast guys about this morning, Ms. T brought up the same thing. Very complicated for something that really doesn't have to be that complicated. And for the last 10 years, when gaming online has not been complicated. You got a system, you got a controller, you have a headset, you plug it into one thing, ready to go. You can just talk online and you can deal with people with whatever company's online service and you're just good to go. And all of a sudden, here comes Nintendo with this concept that I think they want to seem very elegant and appealing and simple to use and also kind of innovative. And some of those characteristics might be true, but a lot of them are not. And all of a sudden, it's this big weird mess of things, and you got all these dongles and these cords and these cables, and the headphone cord apparently is only 20 inches long, which isn't really very long. And does this only work when it's in portable mode? What about when it's in docked mode? Nintendo had yet to address that. Hori didn't address that. And so everyone was just all over the place. And like I said, going back to my initial feelings, I was like, yeah, this is kind of weird, Nintendo. Why complicate the hell out of something that needs to be so simple? And I've been someone who's been championing the concept of a mobile app that could work with our portable Nintendo Switch system. Knowing that it could be something Nintendo would outright just completely mess up, I wanted to believe that there could be a world where it would turn out to be this really cool idea and something that no one else could think of to actually make the online experience better for gaming. I was like, Nintendo might be the company, A, to mess it up, but also B, to completely knock it out of the park and hit a home run. And I see this, and it's like, yeah, nope, this isn't a home run. This is something really kind of complicated and weird and completely unnecessary. So like I said, that happened first thing this morning, and everyone's freaking out. I'm sitting here thinking this is just a big boneheaded move, you know, still knowing that we needed to wait for more details from Nintendo officially, because it was certainly very weird that this third-party company who just talks about their headset were the first to reveal any information, any details, any diagrams or pictures or like legitimate concepts about what this whole system was going to look like from Nintendo. It came from Hori and not Nintendo. And of course, there were still a lot of questions we all had, like the docked mode thing, for example. And if there are other options, if there are wireless options, if there's ways to avoid the little dongle thing, you know, what about people like myself who have an iPhone 7 that don't even have a freaking headphone jack in it? Oh my God, Nintendo, I hope that there's a solution for that if I'm going to try to use your darn stupid phone app. And so with all these questions, it's like, well, maybe Nintendo will clear this up and it's going to sound better or look better. And lo and behold, Nintendo did end up revealing some information. And it's almost fortuitous that I had to work all day like an adult human being like I do every day. And I was talking with everyone on Twitter about this. A lot of conversations and tweets. I was interacting with everyone about this today. And I got a lot of good comments and good conversations with people on Twitter about this. And I was like, you know, I'm going to have to make a video about this tonight. I was very excited to give my 2 cents about just simply the Splatoon headset and the phone app and the pictures that Hori released. Just that was going to be my conversation. And then, about an hour before I left work to just drive home, right now before I started recording this video, Nintendo officially launched on their website, and I'm going to link this below, actual details about the online service and the mobile app that's going to be coming later. And it's pretty surprising. A lot of it's pretty good news. I'm not going to lie, you guys. Not everything is great. You know, we can't have rose-colored glasses here. There's still a lot of questions and mysteries and things about what Nintendo's doing. That is pretty questionable, let's be real. But once they revealed this information, which I think was planned to get the crummy information out this morning, they knew people were going to react toxically. And then here's something to kind of buffer the situation that actually looks pretty darn good overall. So the details that they released, a lot of you guys probably know this. I'm sure I'm like the 97 millionth video and person you've heard talking about this and sharing their opinions and their details about this today on YouTube, but it is what it is. So Nintendo unveiled this information, and they confirmed that their online service, their paid online service, which was previously supposed to launch in 2017, is now officially going to launch in its paid format in 2018. So it's been pushed back a little bit. Also, I have to address the fact that yet another one of my big bets for Nintendo and for E3 as a whole, actually, has proven to be correct. I'm not batting quite 1,000 yet, but I'm batting a pretty high average when it comes to my big bets, because I did predict that Nintendo would not detail their online service at E3. To be fair, I did assume it was going to come way later, after E3, like in July or August or sometime. But regardless of when they chose to do it, they still didn't do it at E3. They're giving us all this information today on June 1st, which is 2 weeks before E3 happens. So I was correct when I said it wasn't going to be E3 that we heard about their online service. So major props to me yet again. Anywho, let's get back to the details. The online service, not 2017, it is actually coming in 2018. But there's a bunch of different details around this. First and foremost, the phone app and a kind of beta test version of their online service that will not be paid is still going to launch this year. Sometime by the end of the year in 2017, Nintendo did confirm, and again, this is available on their website, official from Nintendo, that there will be a free trial period of the phone app, which is very good to know because I really want to see how this thing is going to work, of the phone app and of what this service is supposed to be, which is really pretty cool. The next thing, let's get to the biggest thing, actually, before I get to some more of the smaller details, is the price. They confirmed the price, and it's crazy because it is a lot cheaper than a lot of us expected. Let's get to the big one, which is the yearly annual price for Nintendo's online paid service is $19.99. $20 annually for the whole year, which is insane. Now, we're not yet speaking to the quality of the service because the service may turn out to be garbage and not user-friendly and not really worth even the 20 bucks. But while we still have to wait to see how that plays out, when we just look at it, base information, surface level, on paper, 20 bucks a year for a paid online service, compared to the rest of the industry, excluding Steam, which is completely free, that's fantastic. So way to go, Nintendo. Bravo. You get a clap from me and a lot of people. You nailed the price. That is fantastic to see. So it breaks down in 3 categories. The 12-month, 1-year membership, 20 bucks, $19.99. The 3-month membership is only $7.99, whereas for PSN, for example, it's $24.99. Such a huge difference. That is exactly 1/3 the price. And then once a month, it's $3.99. I mean, even $4 a month is just a pretty good deal. So overall, I think that they nailed it. They knew that they're trying something different. It's the first time Nintendo's stepping into the paid online service and online infrastructure arena, and they're doing this very carefully. They're dipping their toes in, And right now, with all the good and the bad information we're getting, when we just look at this information, it's a great sign. I think it shows Nintendo is aware of what's going on. They're aware of their competition, what the standards and expectations are of gamers and of the industry, and they're probably pricing themselves appropriately, and if anything, incredibly competitively. And I gotta give them props. So awesome, Nintendo. It's really nice to see. 20 bucks a year. I'm definitely gonna pay that at least for the first year to give it a shot and see how it all plays out. I would assume it's going to launch somewhere close to when Splatoon 2 or some other big August or October online game is going to launch. Like, if Xenoblade sticks to 2017 and there's a big online focus there, it might launch with that game. If Call of Duty does truly come in November to the Switch, I think we might see it then. Or, like I said, maybe as early as July 21st when Splatoon launches, which would also kind of fall into an old theory I had. Because before they announced the release date of Splatoon 2, I theorized that whenever that game came out, probably August or September, that they were going to use that to push their paid online service. And now, since they're giving us a free beta version this year, that might still be true. Even though we're not going to be paying for it, maybe it launches around the same time as Splatoon. You know, maybe not, just my personal theory. So I'm even double checking my details here, and I think that that's probably true, because it actually says in the coming 2017, it says a free limited version of the cell phone app will be available for download in summer 2017. What game falls dead smack in the middle of summer, just a week after my birthday, by the way? It's Splatoon 2, July 21st. Mark my words, they're going to release together. I really feel like the app is going to be available for download when Splatoon 2 launches, and that's smart on Nintendo's part. Very smart business move. You know, the only other main detail I wanted to talk about is it was confirmed. Someone even asked me about this on Twitter, and so I can now confirm this, that yes, the, monthly online version of NES and Super NES game downloads is apparently still going to be available. It does say this right here. I'm reading directly from their website. Classic Game Selection. Subscribers will get to download a compilation of classic titles with added online play, such as Super Mario Bros. 3, Balloon Fight, and Dr. Mario. And they go on to say that certain details and stuff about that may change. But they use those couple of examples. Long story short, they're sticking to their guns on that. And that may even also be available initially in the free 2017 version of this. So, in wrapping up and talking about all these details and my ultimate feelings and final thoughts here, it's interesting. There is some not great. There is some concern. Absolutely. We need to truly understand the cell phone app. We need to truly understand the accessory situation, how the cell phone app works with the Nintendo Switch, how those two devices, your cell phone app and your Switch, will work with a headset. Is there wireless options? Do we have to have all these dongles? What about people like myself who retardedly have an iPhone 7, which I do actually love my iPhone 7, by the way, but who have an iPhone 7 that doesn't have a headphone jack? I don't want a dongle attached to a dongle attached to a Switch attached to my head. I don't want that, Nintendo. God damn it. So you gotta find ways to make those not an option. Can we just use our regular cell phone service for some things? What about when the Switch is docked? I will say, my feeling and my guess here, this is nothing but speculation on my part, I think that the docked version of their online service, I think they will address that. And I think that it's going to be something different and hopefully even more elegant and have nothing to do with any of this garbage stuff that we're seeing from like the Hori headset thing. Hopefully none of that is part of the process, and we can just make this a much more seamless experience when we're actually docked and playing on our TV. So we need to find those things out. We need to understand when is it going to launch. My theory is going to be before the end of the fiscal year, so probably around the same time that the Switch launched this year. The Switch launched in March of 2017. I feel like the paid version of this service is going to launch sometime around March 2018. Even if it's late February or mid to late March, I think that that's probably when it's going to come, so that they can sort of build that hype by the end of the year, and then of course hopefully start the fiscal year off strong again, which is part of the reason we know they launched Zelda and the Switch in March of this year, right before the end of their fiscal year. So, you know, we have a lot of these questions. Is it even going to be quality? Is it going to be good? Is the service going to be stable? Is the connection going to be legitimate? Is the user interface going to be user-friendly? Is it going to be interesting and competitive with what the competition offers? Are we going to get something like achievements? Are we going to get messaging system, you know, more notifications and the ability to communicate with people? What can we do on the Switch? What do we have to use our phone for? I'm sure there's all these different things we need to really know and understand. So all these questions do still remain. But of the details they gave us today, a lot of it's pretty good. I like that they're giving us the ability to try the service and the smartphone app this year for free. I like the fact that we know officially it's going to launch next year. I like the fact that we know the pricing, and that the pricing is an absolute home run, the best piece of news from Nintendo today. Better than I think a lot of us could have ever even hoped for. Some of us were like, ooh, would they go as low as $24.99? Like, and it's even way better than that. I mean, 20 bucks, it's a great deal. And so there's a lot of good stuff happening here. Am I nervous and apprehensive to a degree? Yes, for a lot of the reasons I stated. But I will say this. I'm going to leave you guys with this. Nintendo is a smart company. The Nintendo that is behind the Nintendo Switch, that is behind developing a game like Breath of the Wild, I've said this stuff before and it applies here as well. The Nintendo that's very strong with their marketing right now, the Nintendo that seems like they understand the gamer a little bit better, and they understand marketing, and they understand the appeal of their products and their games, that Nintendo, this current Nintendo, is very smart. And they're a very smart business. They're making wise business choices. And the strong and competitive pricing here tells me that we can hopefully expect the same smart Nintendo once we actually have the full details and we see how this app works. So we can hope that the Hori Splatoon headset situation is just a one-off, is just something that's more relevant to Hori and their product and not Nintendo and its service, and that there will be a lot of different ways to make this work for the betterment of our gaming experience and not this big, cumbersome, complicated mess that it seems to be right now. I'm hoping that Nintendo will reveal quality details that actually makes this thing worthwhile. I think there's a very good chance Nintendo will ultimately make us very happy and pleased with this final product and this final service, but we do have to temper our expectations and keep ourselves prepared for the same old stumbly Nintendo to come out here and maybe ultimately have a product and a service that might just barely get the job done, but still be too awkward to really be considered a hit. And I do have to say, actual final thought, if that's the case, if Nintendo stumbles here, and if this thing isn't a home run and doesn't actually appease us and give us the experience we truly want and deserve, I don't think it's going to ruin Nintendo. I don't think that this would be the end of Nintendo. I don't think that this is going to completely damage the Switch. I think that at the end of the day, a couple of bucks a month is still a worthwhile price to pay just to be able to play the great games online. And I say that because I still think even if the online service totally sucks ass, I think that the games are still going to be great, and that's why we're going to keep playing our Switches, you guys. That's why we're going to still keep playing on Nintendo's products, because they're going to keep releasing games like Zelda, like Mario, Metroid is coming, we're going to get F-Zero and Animal Crossing. Maybe not F-Zero, but we're going to get Animal Crossing. I think that third parties are going to become more and more invested, and we're going to get more of that stuff on board. Nintendo's games and online play games are going to continue, so we're still going to be playing their games, we're still going to be playing online, and we're still going to be playing our Switches, even if the service is not really that great. So will it be a bad thing if it's not quality? Yes, it will be bad. Is it going to completely kill Nintendo or kill the Switch? Absolutely no way, no how, not even a little bit, so we don't have to have our faith in Nintendo completely shattered, even if this thing isn't good. Okay, whew, I think I'm done. I had a lot to say about this, you guys. There are so many details and so many things, so many answers we got today, and so many more questions. And that's just the way Nintendo operates, man. They always keep us guessing. So it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be apprehensive. I am as well, but I think that there could be a silver lining. Luckily, we still have even more details to wait from Nintendo, and hopefully that all turns out to be pretty darn great once we finally hear about it. But we're gonna have to wait till sometime later in the year, so it seems. So that's it. I think I covered all the bases on this topic today, you guys, and my personal perspective and opinion. So I need to hear you talk about it. What do you think about all this stuff? The Splatoon 2 thing, the Hori headset, the cell phone app, the online pricing, Nintendo's details, all the questions we still have. What do you think about all this madness from today? Talk about it below. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I will catch you next time on another video.